2024 is officially over and we are now entering 2025. So just like I did last year, I'm going to do a full recap of 2024, the things I did, things I learned, and then also go over, as you read in the title, the $1 Million Plan for 2025. So before I jump into this stuff, make sure you guys like, subscribe, comment down below some videos you'd like to see. We also now have a community down below. If you want to join this community, it's a paid community, $37 a month. There's around 250 members in there. The entire Versatile team's in there, myself, the COO Parker, ad specialist, ISA, sales rep. We're constantly answering questions every single day. And we also have weekly group calls every Saturday. So I jump on a call with everyone, we network, chat, answer questions, share my screen, show people what is it they want to see. So basically you're getting a group mentorship for $37 a month, which is absolutely insane. I want to make it paid because it holds people accountable and people actually respond in there and have good conversations. So yeah, if you want to join, link for that's below, but let's jump into this recap video. So I'm going to go through the recap of 2024 and then at the end of the video walk you guys through the $1 Million Plan and the goals for 2025. So let's start off with January of 2024. A lot of building took place in this month. As you guys probably know, if you don't know, I live in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Our winters are very, very long. Days are very short. It's dark when you wake up. It's dark when you get out of the office and go outside. So throughout the winter, typically it's just a lot of building because there's not a whole lot else to do unless you do snowboarding or you have a snow machine. So in January, it was working, but then also I surprised my dad for Christmas with a trip to Toronto to watch UFC. That was on my bucket list to watch the UFC, so I got to do that. It was the Strickland versus Duplessis fight. I don't know if any of you guys watched UFC. That was a great event, so that's what took place in January. Now in February, this was a huge month and a big month as far as crossing off limiting beliefs, which I think obviously everyone has, whether it's making your first $1,000 online, 10,000, 50,000, 100,000, whatever that looks like. For me, we did our first ever $50,000 a month. We hit our first month ever where it was over $50,000 essentially. So we did $63,000 in February. That was insane. I got the Tissot watch that you guys might see me wear. I bought a watch that I planned on getting when I did over the first $50,000 month. So that's huge. Now, like I'm going to say at the end of this video, I've proved it over and over again to myself that every single time you hit these new milestones or these new goals, it becomes the new normal very, very quick. You get complacent with where it is that you're at, and then it feels like you just did absolutely nothing because you're constantly now just looking at the next big thing and how to get there. And then also the whole new levels and new devils thing. A lot of 2024 was focused on strictly one thing, increasing the service delivery and taking it from good to great. But now I'm really, really starting to experience the new levels, new devils. It literally feels like I'm building a new business just for all the new things that you have to implement to get to the next goal. I'm not going to get too off track here, but February holds a special place in my heart, just doing over our first $50,000 a month. Then March was a lot of grinding and preparing for a big trip at the end of the first quarter, the start of April, which I'll get into. I also went to another UFC event, UFC 299 in Miami, which was really cool. Obviously, Miami is like a guru city, so it was cool to see what the hype was all about there. That was the Sugar Sean fight, so that was a sick card, Sugar Sean versus Chito Vera. I loved UFC so much. The event is crazy, super fun. You're there for like 4 hours just drinking, watching people fight. April, so me and Parker packed up and we went to Hawaii for 2 weeks. This trip was still one of the greatest trips I've ever went on to date, and that's just because Hawaii is one of the craziest places ever. It reminded me of Miami on steroids, the downtown strip, but then also you can be in Jurassic Park within a 20-minute drive. The beaches are incredible. The scenery is just insane. So if you ever get the chance to go to Hawaii, go there. I honestly don't know a place or how I'm going to top that trip because it was absolutely beautiful. May, I went on a nice little golf trip with some of my hometown friends. The Gaylord, a place in Michigan that's like 2.5 hours away from Sault Ste. Marie. So that was super fun. Basically, May was just a lot of working and then this golf trip. June, I went out to a camp a lot. We have a camp on the water here at Lake Superior. Did a lot of work out there this year, more than I did in 2023. That was super fun. We had a great summer. Personally, I did a lot. The weather was phenomenal as far as the big holidays that I can remember. July, I went to Toronto for 7 days and we stayed in the sick penthouse, me and Parker. We did a lot of work from there, filmed some content overall just to break things up. Wanted to experience a little bit of the Toronto summer. In August, we went to Boots and Hearts. That was incredible. If you guys don't know what that is, it's just a country festival here in Canada. So that was super fun. I went there with a buddy here in my hometown, and then me and Parker went as well. That was only like a 3 or 4 day thing, so nothing crazy happened there. It was just a long long weekend. And then September, October, November was basically just balls to the wall grinding. We had to hit some goals before we booked our trip to Costa Rica in December, which you guys follow the business or my Instagram, you'll see all the updates of when we were in Costa Rica. So yeah, literally September, October, November was just a blur. I literally did nothing besides just work basically. Like I said, I like to personally set goals, and when we hit those goals, I like to get something, either something materialistic that I want or book a trip to somewhere nice, which happened to be Costa Rica. Otherwise, it doesn't really feel deserved. Like with anything I've ever done, whether it's for the most part traveling on these big trips or buying that, Tissot watch that I got that I wanted, it's always directly correlated or linked to a goal that I want to hit. That's just personally how I like to operate and do things. And then December, obviously, was Costa Rica for 3 weeks. I left November 30th and got home December 21st. So Costa Rica was phenomenal. That's probably my second favorite trip I've ever been on. A lot of that was just working as well. We were still working while we were there, building on new stuff, talking about the new year, planning for the new year. And that was a really fun trip. The weather there is phenomenal. It's like 30 degrees every single day. It rained once in 3 weeks. So that was a great trip. That's what the year looked like. Obviously, I'm just talking about all the fun stuff and the traveling and the milestones and goals that we hit. Obviously, if you guys have a brain, you'll know that there's tons of lows when it comes to doing this stuff as well. It's not just all highs. There's plenty of battles throughout the year when it comes to, that month not being a good one and losing a bunch of money and still paying the payroll, or clients being upset, or people leaving, or, threatening to get sued by certain people. It's just in business and entrepreneurship, that's just the name of this game. It's extremely stressful. If you want to live your life with no stress, then obviously you can go punch in, punch out, come home and play video games, do your thing. But with running a business, being an entrepreneur, that's just the name of the game, and I've came to accept that now. Obviously, it's still hard when you're in those moments, but I like what Iman Gadzhi says. Call it cliche, but he says this too shall pass, essentially. And I do like thinking about that, because it's when you're on the highs, that's going to pass. When you're in the lows, that's going to pass. Everything just essentially inevitably will end up passing. So it's just kind of take it for what it is and keep going. Now, my biggest takeaways from this year, 2024, was, as you heard, a lot of these trips were strictly just more so for fun. Obviously, we were still working while we were there, but there was no reason for going there as far as a conference and whatnot. So in 2025, I created an account specifically for this. I want to invest more into myself, into the team and the people, whether that's conferences, courses, events, whatever that looks like. I want to do more investing into myself and into the team and the people that I work with. I think that's very important. I've heard every successful person say that. For some reason, I've never really done it. Maybe it's just because I've never had an account created for it. I don't know. That's kind of how my brain works. But in 2025, I'm going to be doing a lot of that. Like I just mentioned earlier, a big realization in 2024 was that I've just realized how true it is when you hit your goals and you strike off that limiting belief of whatever it was. It quickly becomes the new normal, and then you move on to the next. You guys will experience this when you hit your first, whatever it is, that goal, 10K, 50K month, that as soon as you do it, it's surreal for a couple weeks. And then all of a sudden, when you do it again, it becomes the new normal. And then you're quickly thinking about that next goal, and you just get back into the exact same mindset, and everything just basically restarts. So you're astonished for legit 2 weeks, and then you do it again, and you're like, okay, you don't realize it, but it's quickly the new normal, and all you're doing is thinking about the next goal, and you're just in the exact same loop you were before, and absolutely nothing's changed. New levels, new devils is crazy, experiencing that right now. Getting to that next level, consistently doing around 100, 200K a month is a goal for 2025, which I'll go over. It literally just feels like you're restarting borderline. Obviously you have all these foundations and everything built out. It's a little less overwhelming maybe, because you already know what works. You're just trying to essentially scale that up, but you also have to do a lot of new things. Even for me, trying to crack the code on paid ads, getting a full-time sales rep, all that stuff is very new. So it literally feels like you're almost building a new business, or you're building new departments and stuff like that. So new levels, new devils is crazy. I'm experiencing that the most right now, trying to get to this next level. Going from 10 to 50 was kind of relatively the same, or just scaling some things up, or just making things better. Also, what I've realized is experiencing right now, or just what I realized when we did that month in February, was the sort of ice cube theory and atomic habits, that you do things for a very, very long time and you feel like absolutely nothing's happening, even though you're grinding. And all of a sudden, 1 month or 1 week or 1 day, it all just happened. So before that $63,000 month in February of 2024, a year and a half, 2 years prior to that, we were just hovering around 20, 25, 30, 15, 20, 25K, 30, 40. I can never break through that threshold for whatever reason. And then all of a sudden, the work we did for a year just compounded. In February, we suddenly did over 50, and then throughout all of 2024, it was just big months like that. So that's what I try and remember when I'm doing all this work now, like throughout all of the second half of 2024 and going into January, that all this work we're doing now and building and new things and this and that, even though it feels like absolutely nothing's changed and nothing's happening from it, I know there's going to be that breakthrough moment in 2025 where all of a sudden we do, 120, 150, 180, whatever that looks like. I just have proved myself once again multiple times that that's just sort of how that stuff works. So if you're watching this right now and you're doing a bunch of work and you're going balls to the wall, building all these new systems, doing this, doing that, doing this, and it feels like absolutely nothing's changed, nothing's happening, it's just one big compounding effect. Eventually you'll hit that breakthrough moment, and then that new thing will become, or that new goal will become the new normal. So those are some of my biggest takeaways from 2024. Obviously, there's a whole bunch of shit I can go on, but I'm not going to make this video like 45 minutes long. Those are the main big things that I can think about and what immediately came to my head. Now, the plan for 2025. If you guys have already saw, if you haven't, there's new content. I'm doing a weekly vlog throughout this entire year. It's $1 million plan for 2025. And essentially this year, it's going to be a 7-figure year. So 2025, we're going to do 7 figures. That's the plan. And then obviously there's a bunch of different things that we're doing to hit that goal, but I'm not going to jump into that. Overall goal for 2025. So I want to consistently be in that 100K to 200K a month mark. Once again, a bunch of different stuff that goes into this. So need to crack paid ads essentially. We want to get the paid ads to like $250, $500 a day. So going to be doing that, whether that's filming a bunch of new content, maybe investing in someone that knows how to crack paid ads, whatever it looks like. Basically something that needs to happen. Getting a full-time sales rep, someone that can close at the rate that I am, and essentially having someone else full-time to take all these different sales calls. And then I can eventually maybe move on and start working on building new things during the week, dialing in the content that much more. So I really want to just level up the content and start posting more stuff. Not that I necessarily like, but I guess, that I like and I think is just better overall for the business and for myself and my personal brand. So doing this, getting myself out of my comfort zone as well, doing like these weekly vlogs and filming out in public and just like thinking about new content, stuff like that. And so gonna be doing more content. And then something that I'm super excited for, a fun new business launch that'll be coming for you guys soon. This business will hopefully be launching like by the end of January. It's gonna directly correlate with what it is that we're doing now. I'm sure maybe some of you guys could probably guess what that is, but I've hit certain goals that I've wanted to hit, that I said I needed to hit before I did something like this. So I'm gonna be super excited for this to launch. It's gonna be a great time, something that I'm actually genuinely passionate about for now. There's gonna be a new business that'll be launching around the end of January, which will also help us get to that 7-figure mark in 2025. So that's it. That's the 2024 recap. I'm super excited for what 2025 has ahead for us and the entire team. We're getting a bunch of new merch at the start of this year as well, which will be super fun and cool. But there's already some crazy plans for 2025, stuff that I'm not going to talk about yet, like I just mentioned. Crazy things that are happening. So if you enjoyed this, I'd appreciate it if you want to follow along throughout this journey, the weekly vlogs and all this other cool stuff we're doing. Subscribe, like, comment down below some videos you'd like to see, and we will see you guys in the next one. Peace.